Hey everybody, I'm going to talk you through throwing something. I don't know if I've done this recently and my head really won't be in the video, but hi, yeah, I'm just going to do a demo and hopefully it'll help somebody. So, okay. So first, you want to get your clay, make sure it's wedged and get it on there. I teach kids, and sometimes when I teach kids, I call that mashed potatoes. You really want to get it on the wheel head of your wheel tightly, because if you don't, it'll just fly off and hit someone else in the head. Not that I know from experience. Okay, totally know from experience. It's not fun. So you want to make sure it's on there tight. After you get it on there, you want to start centering. And there's a couple different ways to center. There's coning, which people use. You bring it up, you bring it down. Do a quick one. You bring it up, you bring it down. It works good with large amounts of clay. I like brute force, which is really just you feel for where it's wobbly and then you push. And I always like to put a little pressure on the top, and then usually using the pads of my hands and my fingertips is really where I'm pushing the most until it feels centered. And I know that's a silly thing to say because it's like, oh, well, I can't really show you. Really, after a while, it becomes muscle memory and you just kind of get it. I know that's not the best advice. If you come and actually take a workshop with me at Union Project or somewhere else, I promise to really show you. Centering is my least favorite part of the process, actually. It took me 3 months to learn how to do it, and I was not the best at it. Still not the best at it, but gotten better. So after you center, you're going to open. And what you're doing is you're going to take your thumb, press the pad of it against the top, and swoop. You never just want to stick your fingers or stick your thumb in because the clay is pretty strong. It could wrench your thumb and you don't want that. So we're going to press with the pad of our finger and swoop to get the bottom. And then people sometimes ask how you know how deep to go. And again, I think that just comes with time. Something you can do though is take your needle tool and hold it against the bottom of what you've thrown and use your finger to see how far you are. I usually want to be about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, and then you just turn it back on to cover up that hole. And now it's open. I like to cradle it back in a little bit and then use my finger to make sure that it's still flat, because anything can go off center with whatever you do. That's what's difficult about throwing, is you get it on center and then everything you do throws it off. You just get used to going slowly. Okay. Then I'm gonna use, I use a sponge, but let me show you with my fingers. So I learned doing 2 and 2. You want to keep your fingers about the same on either side and slowly bring them up. But now that I'm throwing, and I think every potter sort of does it differently, I like to use a sponge on one side. It grips better, and then on the inside I pretty much use all my fingers, these 3 and my thumb. So, and I use my thumb sort of to guide, and I'll press in with the same amount of pressure on the inside and the outside if I can do it, and then it slowly grab the clay from the bottom and move it up towards the top. And then when you get to the top, you want to take a second and rest and bring it apart, because again, you don't want anything to go off center. You don't want to push too hard on one side and not the other side, because then you get wibbly wobbly top, which you can fix with a needle tool. But when you're trying to get it perfect, if you try to do it perfect the first time, it's a lot less to fix later. You don't want to use a lot of water, but I do use some on my sponge, and I'm going to push again from the bottom. See, my thumb sort of keeps my hands at the same level so that they're going up the sides at the same time. And you don't want to go too fast, because again, that can cause your top to become wibbly, which mine is starting to do. And I once had a professor that says if you can't throw a mug in 3 or 4 pools, you're probably going a little too slow. I think take as much time as you need, really, but I don't like to spend too much time on a form if I can, because then you overwork it. So this is pool number 3, I think. Pull it up to the top. Pause. Now, I'm going to use these to make skull mugs. So normally I wouldn't make a mug form so big, but actually your clay shrinks when it fires, so you want to make it bigger than you want. But my skull mugs are actually probably my biggest mugs, so I'm going to make it slightly bigger. Okay, there we go. I think this might be my last pull. I might do one more, we'll see. And I really love my wheel. I have a Brent wheel. I think it's a CXC. I really like it. But yeah, I always make my mug forms a little wider and a little taller than what I need, especially for the skull mugs, because I'm gonna carve eyes and mouths and noses into it, and having it be a little thicker and a little taller helps when I'm carving. But yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm gonna smooth out the top, because again, I don't want people to cut their mouths on the rim. And then I'm gonna take it off the wheel. And I cut away a lot of the extra clay from the bottom, because then I don't have to trim more later. You can look back at my past videos. I have some videos of me trimming. Trimming is fun, I really do like it, but it can lead to holes in your pieces if you're not careful, and that was also something I had to learn. But so I'm taking a lot of clay away. See, it's a bunch of clay from the bottom of the piece. And I'll just recycle that, use it for later. Okay, now check the bottom, make sure everything's okay. Okay, now I'm gonna take it off. Okay, so I'll use a little bit of water on the wheel head so that it starts to slide away. A little more, this is probably where I use the most water in the process. And then, there we go. And then I'm gonna slowly use my hands and slide it off the bottom. It's okay if these get a little wonky when I slide them, because again, I'm gonna be putting skull faces on them. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's what I need. And I gotta make, I think, 2 more of these, and then I'm gonna move on to some mini pots. So yeah, very quick throwing demo with probably half my face in the video. But I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you later.